I thought my sister was jealous of my success. She thought I was selfish, but it was all orchestrated by my own parents, who had quietly siphoned off the $400,000 we were allotted. Ava Sinclair had always been the golden child. At least, that's what everyone said. Relatives at Christmas dinners, teachers at school, even neighbors who never truly knew her. Success seemed to follow her like a shadow, but few noticed how heavy it was to carry. She'd graduated top of her class, opened her own interior design studio at 27, and by 30, her name appeared in glossy magazines, under headlines like, "The visionary behind modern harmony interiors." She smiled in those pictures. Confident, I poised. But behind every accomplishment was the quiet exhaustion of being the one everyone expected to keep shining. Her younger sister, Lena, was different in every way that mattered. Soft-spoken, whimsical, drawn to art and poetry, she drifted through life like a leaf in slow motion. Ava loved her deeply, but often felt like she was watching Lena drown in choices she never finished making. Their parents, Martin and Elaine, always positioned themselves as peacekeepers, though in hindsight, Ava realized they were more like silent directors of a family drama they secretly enjoyed watching unfold. When Ava landed her first big renovation contract, her mother had said over dinner, "Don't talk too much about it in front of your sister. You know how sensitive she is." And when Lena couldn't pay rent one winter, their father murmured to Ava, "You're doing so well. Maybe help her out quietly. She's not as driven as you." Ava did help, repeatedly. But every act of generosity seemed to deepen the quiet resentment in the house. And so, Ava learned to shrink her success, to make it smaller, softer, less visible. Then, everything changed the year their grandmother passed away. Her will was straightforward, $400,000, split evenly between Ava and Lena, to help my girls build the lives they deserve. It was supposed to be the thing that finally balanced them, not break them apart. Ava's share meant expanding her business, maybe even hiring staff. Lena's share could cover art school tuition or a small apartment, a fresh start. But within months, something shifted. The warmth in Lena's voice cooled. Her messages became clipped. Then one evening, Ava's phone buzzed with a text that made her chest tighten. "You always find a way to take what isn't yours." She stared at the words, rereading them in disbelief. Take what? When Ava called, Lena didn't answer. The next day, she finally picked up, her voice brittle, like glass about to shatter. "Don't pretend you don't know," Lena said. "Mom and Dad told me everything. You took my inheritance for your business." Ava blinked, stunned. "Lena, what are you talking about? The money's in the trust Dad set up for both of us." "I haven't touched a cent." Lena scoffed. "Sure. And I'm supposed to believe that while you're posting new design projects and buying furniture, they said you use my half as an investment. You always come out ahead, don't you?" Before Ava could speak, the line went dead. She sat there, the silence pressing in around her. Her parents had told Lena she was a thief. That night, she called them. Her father answered, sounding almost bored. "Ava, honey, you should have told your sister about the investment. She's upset." "What investment?" she snapped. There was a pause. Then, calmly, "Let's not make this bigger than it needs to be." And the line went dead again. That was when Ava felt something inside her, something deep and old, begin to fracture. She stayed up past midnight, logging into her accounts, scanning every transaction, every statement. Nothing unusual, no mystery deposits, no missing money. But when she opened the family trust account, her blood ran cold. The balance read, "Pernus." Every cent gone. She checked the access history. There it was, a single withdrawal, authorized under one name, Martin Sinclair. Her father. For a long time, she just stared at the screen, her reflection flickering in the glass. The successful daughter, betrayed by the very people who taught her honesty. The ache wasn't just about the money. It was about what it meant. Her parents hadn't just lied. They'd chosen to sacrifice her integrity to protect themselves. The next morning, Ava drove straight to their house. The air was heavy with early rain. Her mother opened the door, perfectly composed, wearing her robe and that soft, practiced smile. "Sweetheart," she said, "you shouldn't drive when you're upset." Ava's voice trembled, but her words were sharp. "Where's the money?" Elaine blinked slowly. "We didn't steal. We borrowed. You'll get it back." "When?" Ava demanded. "You lied to Lena. You told her I took it." Her mother's eyes hardened. Calm, calculating. "You're strong, Ava. You'll recover. Lena's fragile. She needed someone to blame. Better she resent you than us." Ava's throat tightened. "You pitted us against each other. You made her hate me." Elaine's tone dropped, cold as marble. "Families do what they must to survive. We lost more than you know. Your father's investments." "Our futures," Ava whispered. "As you gambled our futures." For a heartbeat, neither spoke. Then Elaine sighed, a weary exhale that sounded almost rehearsed. "You'll understand someday," she murmured, stepping back as the door closed between them. Through the glass, Ava heard her father's muffled voice. "She'll get over it." But Ava didn't. Not that day, not for a long time. As she stood in the rain, hands shaking, she realized something chilling. She had spent her whole life trying to earn their pride. Now she knew the truth. She had only ever been their safety net. Weeks passed. For Ava, time moved in strange patterns. Fast during work, slow during silence. She filled her days with clients, designs and deadlines. But the nights belonged to memories that refused to fade. Every attempt to reach Lena went unanswered. Calls went straight to voicemail. Texts were left unread. And on social media, Lena's posts became a mirror of heartbreak. Vague quotes about betrayal. Captions dripping with pain. It hurts most when the person you trusted had every reason not to lie. Blood means nothing when love is one-sided. Ava read them all, each one cutting a little deeper. Her reputation in their small circle began to shift. Friends grew quiet when she entered a room. Even family cousins started asking, "What happened between you and Lena?" But Ava said nothing, because telling the truth would mean exposing her parents, and some lines she wasn't ready to cross. Not yet. So she worked. Late nights, early mornings, sketching designs until her fingers cramped. Her business began to grow again, ironically because of the pain. Clients called her work intimate, emotional, hauntingly human. They didn't know the emotion wasn't inspiration. It was survival. Then, one grey Tuesday, everything changed. A knock at her studio door. When Ava looked up, Lena was standing there, hair tied messily, eyes swollen from crying. She clutched her phone like it was the only thing holding her together. "I just came from the bank," Lena said quietly. Her voice trembled. "You were telling the truth." Ava blinked, stunned. "What?" They found the transfer trail. Lena's voice cracked. "Mom and Dad, they used both our accounts to move the money into theirs. Every cent. They forged our digital signatures." The air between them went still. Ava rose slowly from her chair, disbelief and relief crashing together. For a long moment, neither sister spoke. Then Ava stepped forward and wrapped her arms around Lena. And for the first time in months, Lena didn't resist. She just wept. Quietly, like she'd been holding it in forever. "Why?" Ava whispered. Why would they do that to us? Lena shook her head against her shoulder. I don't know, but I want answers. They drove to their parents' house that same evening. It looked smaller now. The lawn unkempt, the shutters slightly crooked. The home that once symbolized warmth now felt like a crime scene. Martin sat slumped on the couch, grey and tired. Elaine stood near the window, staring out at nothing. When they saw their daughters together, something flickered in their eyes. Not guilt, but resignation. You went to the bank, Elaine said flatly, as if she'd been expecting this. I told him this would happen. Lena stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. You made me hate her. You made me believe she stole from me. Elaine didn't flinch. You wouldn't have believed the truth anyway. You both needed to grow up. Ava's hands clenched at her sides. You didn't teach us responsibility. You taught us manipulation. Her father finally looked up, eyes bloodshot. It was supposed to be temporary, he murmured. We needed time. The business failed. I panicked. You could have asked for help, Ava said, her voice breaking. We would have helped you. Elaine's reply came like a knife. We couldn't bear to. You've both always made us feel small. The words hit Ava harder than any accusation. Small. That was it. The root of it all. Her success hadn't made them proud. It had made them bitter. Her strength reminded them of their own weakness. Lena spoke first, her tone soft but steady. You didn't just steal our money. You stole our trust. Ava nodded, tears in her eyes. We're pressing charges. Their parents didn't protest. Maybe they were too tired to fight. Or maybe, deep down, they knew it was fair. For once, Ava didn't see authority in their faces. Only two people shrinking under the weight of their own choices. As the sisters left, Ava looked back one last time. Her mother stood in the doorway, expression unreadable. No apology, no plea, just silence. A year later, sunlight streamed across the large windows of Ava's new design studio. Twice the size of her old one. On one side of the office, Lena was organizing a client portfolio, humming softly under her breath. The sound was comforting, grounding, something Ava hadn't realized she missed until it returned. They didn't talk much about their parents anymore. There were updates through lawyers and the occasional stiff text on birthdays. But that was it. The connection was formal now, transactional, like a debt statement that would never be cleared emotionally. One afternoon, Lena looked up from her desk. Do you ever think they regret it? She asked. Ava paused, pen hovering over a blueprint. Maybe, she said, but regret doesn't rebuild trust. We did that ourselves. Lena smiled faintly. Yeah, I guess we did. The phone rang, a new client inquiring about a project. Ava took the call, her tone professional yet warm. As she spoke, Lena handed her a cup of coffee and mouthed, You've got this. Ava smiled. Because in that small moment, she realized something profound. Her parents had taken the money, yes, but they had also forced something stronger into existence. Unity, truth, sisterhood, reborn from ashes. And in that sense, Ava and Lena hadn't lost $400,000. They had finally found something worth more. Each other.